Hey, good morning, Teklians. Welcome to episode 22 of Teklian Live. We're going to talk about tech updates, recent stuff in tech, all kinds of stuff. We've got Tesla, AT&T, Google, Yahoo, Samsung, Sony, Netflix, Ubuntu, Google, and
everything.
All kinds of other stuff.
Everything.
We're going to talk about literally everything in the history of technology. And we're going to cram it all into your head in about 17,000 hours. Morning, Joe.
Morning, Chris. No mustache. I had that for all of 1 week for the show. I couldn't stand it anymore. I do have a new device. I don't know if I said that last week. I got it the day before we did the show last week. It's an
I'm
LG
not sure
G2.
if you did.
I'm not sure either. I know I got it on last Saturday, so I had it for the show, but I didn't know if I announced it. But it's an LG G2. It's pretty awesome.
It's what the Nexus 5 is based off of, right?
Yeah, the Nexus 5 is based off of it. And one of the cool things is I get the Verizon variant, which Verizon sucks. And one of the things that sucks about the Verizon variant is it's actually different dimensions and made differently than the other variants. The buttons are shaped differently on the back, and it's a lot harder to use than the original versions. And it's also slightly bigger, just very, very slightly, where you need to get special cases for it. You can't just use any case. But on the plus side, the Verizon variant is the only one that has that QI inductive charging stuff. So if I were to buy a charging mat, I can just drop it on, let it charge, pick it up.
Nice.
Which is what the Nexus 5 does have. So one day, when I actually have a reason to justify the purchase, I'll be getting a charging mat and testing that out. But not anytime soon.
I really want to get one too. I want to get one on both of for me and my wife on our nightstands, because trying to fumble with the cords is so annoying.
It's the perfect spot for it. You just drop it right there.
Yeah.
But it's running Cyanogen. I'm doing the whole nightly flash thing, which I kind of guess I should have just gone with the Xposed Framework. Does that work for just Nexus devices or any device?
I think it's any device.
Because if it's any device, I should have gone for that, because it would have given me all the features I needed. But now I have to go through the hassle of trying to figure out how to get it back to stock if I ever do want to do anything else.
Yeah, once I found out about the Xposed Framework thing, I was so excited, because I that used to be the main reason I would root in ROM for. I would put CyanogenMod on there just for three main features that I really loved, that when I was running stock, could not stand not having these three features. And once I found out about Xposed Framework, and then you just install modules, it's kind of like these little, think of them little modules of customizations. It's like a little chunk of added features into your existing ROM. And I just installed GravityBox, and that literally has everything that I used from Cyanogen.
Yeah, I need to get GravityBox. You sent me something the other night I wanted to try. I forgot what it did. You sent me something, and I went to go use it. Oh, let me customize that bottom bar.
Oh, yeah.
Navigation bar. And I went to go set it up, and it says I need to get BusyBox or something, so I have to go get that later.
Yeah.
I don't know what those things are, but apparently I need
It's just a little thing that runs, installs in the background. It's just, it's kind of like, I don't know the specifics of it, but it puts things on there that other things need to be able to customize certain things.
For you, though, you have pure Android, so
yeah,
being able to use Xposed Framework works great for you, because you still have all the latest stuff, and you get those little tweaks you want. If I were to just not put on a ROM, but also use Xposed Framework, I would still be on 4.2, which is what the LG comes on. I'd have like the LG's skin or whatever it is. It's just, I think in my situation, because I don't have a Nexus, the flashing was a good idea. Just the one feature I miss is just the feature of having a center clock. I might look to see if maybe I can get a Xposed Framework on my ROM for that. I looked for a package to flash to the ROM, and after trying to flash it, I went back and read up, and I found it only works on the AT&T and Sprint variant. I was like, no, I flashed that for nothing.
I'll send you a link to it on XDA.
Yeah.
Because actually, thinking about it now, when I'm going through modules and everything, it does say that this is for this, like this is specifically designed to get this feature back on this device.
But that's the great thing about Android is it has so much developer support.
Yeah.
So much. There's no excuse, unless you buy like one of the shitty like $50 Android phones, there is no excuse to like not be able to do what you want with your phone. There's so much developer support. You can do anything.
So yeah, speaking of Android.
Yeah. I wasn't even planning that, but speaking of Android, it's in your car now, or going to be.
will be one day.
It will be in your car. It will take you where you want to go without you having to tell it where you want to go.
Without you even knowing. You could just be like, I'm going to go and sit in my car because I don't know if I want to go somewhere or not. And you're going to sit in there, and then your car's going to be like, hey, you want to go here. And then you're going to be like, I didn't even know that.
But your car is literally going to be like tied to your Google Plus, and it's going to be like, hey, you sent in a post 3 years ago. You wanted to go to this place. Let's go now.
Yeah.
Like, take me there, car.
It's going to be like, you need to stop your procrastination. You made a post that you wanted to try this place. It's right here. We're going to cancel this doctor's appointment, and we're going to go, and we're going to try this hot dog stand.
We're going to cancel this major organ transplant. You don't need that right now, and we're going to go.
You got to eat this crappy food before you have that, because...
Yeah, we don't even need to say it, just because, you know.
We don't need a reason. We are Android. We do not explain ourselves to you mortals.
But no, that wasn't really a good explanation of it. Android is coming to cars. And that's it. That's all you need to know.
Scare people away from it. It's actually a good thing. You're going to be happy about it.
Partners includes Audi, GM, Honda, Hyundai.
And working with NVIDIA.
NVIDIA. Yeah, that's cool. I don't understand exactly what they're trying to do with it. It just kind of says they're doing it.
It's basically just they're working on having a platform that would be specifically for in-dash optimized applications.
Because right now, every car, and sometimes even every model of a car, will have its own operating system just for the dash that's in that car. So they're working on having one that's universal. Just you get a car, it's going to have this operating system, it's going to work this way, and you're set.
It's just adding to the whole Android ecosystem. You can have your Android phone, your Android tablet, and
now your Android car.
Now when you get into your Android car, those things are going to be paired. So I'm thinking like a music app that is paired to your car, so when you get in there it connects via Bluetooth, or even if there's a little mount. I think that would be cool to have a little NFC mount or something. You just plug it in there, or even the apps on there, but they're connecting to your device using your device's data, so that you can control and stream your music on your dash, but your car doesn't have to have a data plan because it's going to use your phones.
Yeah, and then if you have a long enough cord, long enough USB cord, plug it into your car and root it,
Yeah. That'd be funny. I rooted my car, but I installed the wrong... I used the wrong kernel, and now it's bricked, and I can't drive, and I have a thing. I have to go to work.
I bricked my car.
That's one hell of a brick. Definitely don't want to brick your car.
Hard bricked, yeah.
Imagine a smart house. You got your Android smart house. I bricked my house.
But yeah, that's exciting. I'd like to see how that develops.
I want it in a Tesla too.
I just want a Tesla. I don't care if it's in a Tesla. I just want a Tesla.
Tesla and AT&T are working together. AT&T is working.
Oh wait, we're jumping.
We're jumping.
You're messing with me. I had the next one open, but I guess we can jump there. That works. It flows.
Oh, you know what? Mine's in the wrong order. I'm looking off a different thing.
Oh, all right.
Sorry about that.
This actually flows better though. But I do want a Tesla.
Yeah.
All right. So Tesla and AT&T are working together.
AT&T is working to become the exclusive data provider for Tesla vehicles. So it'll power remote diagnostics, entertainment, live traffic reports, weather, navigation. So the reason on my list I had these together was I was thinking an Android-powered in-dash in a Tesla with data from AT&T.
Especially if AT&T would finally just offer unlimited data rather than you can have 4 gigs or 6 gigs or 5, but you can't have just as much as you need. Because especially with something like that, you're going to be streaming a lot of media if you're going to be doing that, like for radio.
Oh, yeah. I don't go over, I have AT&T and I only have the 2 gig plan, but I'm almost always either at home or at work. In between there, I'm streaming Pandora constantly. Anytime I'm in the car, I'm streaming Pandora, and I don't think I've even reached 1.5 gigs.
My thing is, last time I checked it, 4 days had passed from when I started my service to when I checked my data. Only 4 days, and I checked how much data I had used, just me and my phone. I have 2 phones in my plan, and I had already used 400 megs, which is half a gig almost. And I'm like, how am I going to stretch 4 gigs between us? This is I don't know. I shut off all background processes and stuff, but I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I try not to stream music if I'm not on Wi-Fi. I never do it in my car because I don't want to use my data.
What I was doing for a while is in my Google Music, I would just make a playlist of stuff that I'm really into listening to right now, and then I would make a playlist, and then I would just pin it to the device.
Can I do that though with All Access?
Yeah.
Because I have a very large number of songs now on my device that I added to my library that I didn't buy. It's because of all access that I was able to add it to my library. Can I still pin it to my device even though I did not purchase songs?
Yeah. That's part of the beauty of All Access. You have the entire library of Google Music, which is the artist decides if their music is going to be available in All Access.
Yeah.
But basically you have that whole entire library available as if it's just yours.
Which is awesome. So I can pin it to my device and use it offline. I didn't know that, or I would have made a
Yeah.
playlist a long time ago. I might actually even do that tonight.
The other great thing is that I missed from when I had it was you can have shared playlists. I mean, not shared in a sense that you're both putting stuff in there. You both have to have all access, but you subscribe. That's what it is. Like you can put together a playlist of stuff that you're really into right now, and then you can share that, and other people can subscribe and they can listen to your playlist. They can't modify it. Yeah. But they can go in and be like, oh, what's he added? Because there was a couple people in my circles that listened to like really good electronic music, and I used to love it. Yeah. And I was constantly going in there and shuffling their playlists and finding all kinds of cool stuff in there.
Well, one of the great things about AT&T partnering up with them is I'm not a big AT&T fan or any of the big companies, even though I have Verizon. But while Verizon does have the largest cell network, AT&T has the largest 4G network.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the best option because that's the best coverage no matter where you're driving.
And, I mean, it depends. There's different places. Like I know some people that have better T-Mobile coverage than AT&T, and I would love to go back to T-Mobile, and we have a thing to talk about with them.
Yeah.
But AT&T has coverage at my house. Like T-Mobile, I loved their coverage I had when I was out elsewhere, and the speeds I got on their network was amazing.
Yeah, same when I had T-Mobile. I love the speeds.
But they have no coverage right at my house. My house is the dead zone.
Like my neighborhood, like when you look at T-Mobile's map, it's like everything around my neighborhood's dark, and then when you move into my neighborhood, it gets all light, you kind of a signal. And then you get to my street, and it's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like we just aren't gonna provide service there. That's how T-Mobile was, and I loved having T-Mobile. It was great speeds everywhere else, but for my state in particular, if you look at AT&T's map, my state is all just dark blue. It's just the whole thing is just 100% covered almost.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small state, but
yeah, but your state is about the size of my city. They're about the same size.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and when I have that problem, I can go some places where I have, on when I had T-Mobile, I was going some places I was getting 17 megabits per second, which coming from Sprint's 0.07.
Oh, don't even get me started when I had Sprint.
I had 0.07, and I went to 17. So I was like, hey, people were talking about how LTE is better than HPSA plus, but it's like, you know what? Anything is better than what Sprint has.
Yeah, because I know when I had Sprint, that was way back, 3 years ago, back when I had a Facebook and stuff. And we had our very first Android smartphones then. They were the Motorola Experts, and when I would try to open up Facebook on that thing, it would literally just sit there and sit there, and then I'd see a little blue across the top, and they would sit there and sit there, and then I would see the icons pop up. It was just I hated Sprint. It was horrible.
It's very horrible. What do we have next? We have
I want to talk about the Pebble.
Pebble is next on the list. Pebble, I was interested in getting one, and they came up with the new one, the Pebble Steel. It's going to be $250. They're still going to sell the original $150 model that was the original one, but this one is new charger and anti-fingerprint coating. It's going to have Corning Gorilla Glass and LED notification.
And it looks really nice.
It does look nice. I'm not a watch person, but I would like a Pebble pocket watch.
I'm not much of a watch person, but I would actually wear this watch.
I would wear it on my ankle so that it's hidden, so that when I want to check the time, I have to go like this.
My whole thing is I know that you're a pocket watch person, but I wouldn't get a Pebble pocket watch because the whole point of the Pebble is to not have to reach in your pocket to take the phone out. And that's why the Pebble just gives you the notifications and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So with the pocket watch, it's defeating. You're still reaching into your pocket. You're just taking out the Pebble instead of your phone.
But this is a much more convenient pocket than, I can easily, if I were to get my phone out of my pocket right now, it's more of a hassle to reach, and even though my phone's right here.
It's I got a notification, so you put it back in, then you reach into your other pocket and take out the phone to respond.
Yeah, the point of this is that it's always within view. I mean, if I'm sitting right here, and I can just glance down and be like, oh, got a notification.
A bunch of people that I work with got Pebbles recently, and I want one eventually, but now that they announced the steel one, I really want the steel. It just looks nice. but I can't really justify $250.
For a while, I couldn't even. I was thinking about the 150 for the Pebble, but I thought if I'm going to spend that much, I want to get that LED touch pocket watch from Tokyo Flash, the one I shared with you, because that's 160.
No, does this the Pebble Steel still has the paper display, right? The e-paper display. All right, so it's still going to get that really good battery life. The LED is just like a little light. The flash doesn't have a notification.
Yeah, and it's like a RGB notification. Kind of the same as with the Nexus. You have your notification light that you can customize the colors. All right, I got my other list in the proper order as our rundown. So now no more jumping around. Although I do have 2 things on here that I forgot to add to the rundown.
What 2 things? Let's do those now because I don't have them.
One of them is the Gmail Google Plus integration, which you were going to talk about anyway. The other one is Ubuntu Android dual booting is becoming very popular.
How's that going for you anyway? And why can't I still not put Ubuntu on my phone? Why is it only Nexus? It's not fair.
Because Nexus is superior. You will be deleted.
I think it's just because it's easier for Ubuntu right now so early on to just kind of support one device than every device. It's not like they have, time to just sit there all the time and just mess with every device.
Yeah, I mean, I think also because Nexus is kind of like, you think of Nexus as the standard, and then there's all the other things. So for them, they're kind of like, let's just go with this device because this is supposed to be flagship, other than try to pick and choose from the hundreds and hundreds of other devices.
But even then, even if you want to put Ubuntu on your device, it still has to be the Nexus 4, not just a Nexus. It has to be the Nexus 4.
No, it's Nexus 4, Nexus 5,
7 and 10.
Nexus 7 and 10.
They have it for the 5 now, because last I checked, they didn't have it for the 5. Because at the time they started developing it, they had 4.
Yeah, they do. Because when I was dual booting, I was following a tutorial on YouTube, and the tutorial was actually for a Nexus 5, so I had to change just a couple things that I was doing for my 4.
Alright, so there is a bunch of tests for Nexus 5. That's pretty cool.
It gets a bit laggy, and the other thing is that it's so based on web apps that there aren't many. The other thing, like, my biggest thing is if it could have some kind of Google Hangouts feature, if there was some kind of web-based Hangouts that I could use on there, I would probably use it more often, but because that's my main form of communication. Because the texting works fine, I can text, I can make calls, and I can use the Google Voice web app, but Google Voice is my main number, so my phone's number isn't the important number. It's kind of a throwaway number. If I decide to leave and go somewhere else, I'm going to get a new phone number, but I'm still going to be using my Google Voice number. So I don't want to text with this. And also, like, I was trying to use something on the web where I was trying to upload a picture. I was using Google Plus, but it was the web app. And I was trying to upload a picture and make a post. It's just a test. I was going to make a post and be like, I made this post using the Ubuntu Touch. And it has the web-based click, like, to choose an image to upload, and it doesn't work. It's not working yet. So you click on it, and there's nothing that pops up to let you choose an image or something from your phone. I mean, it's still developer edition, so it's understandable.
I was trying to see about it on the LG G2, and apparently a lot of people are having trouble. They're trying to, devs are trying to get it to work on it, but
I think it's only a matter of time. And I think it would probably come to yours sooner than most devices because it's so similar to the Nexus 5,
Yeah, the Nexus 5 was based off of it. And I have to say, I love the fact that I'm now running 4.4.2. So,
key benefit to rooting.
While I'm talking about versions of Android, I was reading an article that kind of made a little bit of sense. You know how we have no Nexus 10 yet? Nothing's been announced about it.
Yep.
A lot of people were hoping, CES, finally, maybe at CES they'll do something. They didn't.
That's what I was hoping for. I actually had a spot on the rundown saying a placeholder for that.
But on an article where people were talking about how it didn't come at CES, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. Alright, someone was mentioning that they don't think we'll see it probably until about April or May. And his reason for that is, if you look, Nexus devices are always released with either new versions of Androids or major updates. And he was saying the new Nexus 7 was released with a major update to Jelly Bean. The Nexus 5 was released with the major update to KitKat, which was a whole name change. And then he's saying Nexus devices are always released with major updates. They're never just here's a new phone.
Yeah.
So this guy was saying in the comment, he thinks whenever KitKat gets its major update, he thinks that's when the Nexus 10 is going to be announced. And it makes sense to me, actually.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense because they've never done that to a Nexus device before. They're just here's the new Nexus device. They always release it with something else.
Mm-hmm. Because it's always, here's a new device with a new, they want
Yeah.
an added incentive for getting this device is because this now ships with the newest update.
Yeah. Like when the Nexus 5 came out, I was like, this is now going to come with KitKat.
Yeah.
And the Nexus 4, the Nexus 7, and that stuff didn't get it till a couple weeks after the Nexus 5 came out.
Right, because they wanted that to be the main reason. Like, get this one because this is the only one that has the newest version of Android for right now.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It just makes it newer. It's kind of if they release a new device, but with the operating system you already have, then you're kind of like, oh, well, whatever. I'm already using this operating system.
Exactly. So they're probably going to wait till they have a major update to KitKat.
Plus, if they have like new hardware that the new software can do something cool with, then.
So, but more so than the Nexus 10, I'm still waiting for that Google Voice Hangouts full integration.
Me
full
too.
Integration. Phone calls, Google Voice texting, T-Mobile's get out of jail free card.
It sounds a bit better than what it actually is. Basically, anybody who's on Sprint, Verizon, or AT&T, you can hand over your device at T-Mobile stores. Some of them, like participating T-Mobile stores, and they'll pay your ETF fee to help you switch over to them. You take your current device, they'll appraise it, give you what they feel is it's worth, up to $300.
This one says, on this account, it says up to $650 for each line. You'll have to fork over your old phone and you'll have to port your number. But you won't have to pay a dime. And you might even make a little extra cash depending on what the phone's worth.
Yeah, now I've heard from somebody else who was looking into this, and they went in and their phone was only appraised for like $75. So they were like, so that's like you have to pay your ETF up front, and then you send that to T-Mobile, and then they're supposed to get back to you, but they'll send you like a Visa credit thing. But if you're on there and you bought like a Nexus device through Google, this isn't going to benefit you because you're probably going to want to keep your device, especially if it's a device that's unlocked that can be on both networks. You have to give that up and get one of theirs. So it's good for some people, not for everybody.
The best option is just not to get a contract.
Netflix is going to produce all future shows in 4K. They said that all their Netflix original content is going to be shot in 4K resolution. And they're working on 4K streaming at bit rates under 15 megabits per second.
4K is awesome. I guess we now have a reason to tell our wives we're going to get 4K TVs, right?
Yeah.
just go trade in. You have what, a 55-inch? Just be like, we're going to trade that in and get a 4K.
I love that. You know what? We're not going to trade it in. We're going to put that in here. It's going to be my computer monitor.
That's going to be your monitor for Hangouts.
Or in the bedroom. I can even put it in the bedroom and use the bedroom. I have what is it? I think it's a 37-inch in the bedroom. We hardly ever use it anymore.
That's what we have in our living room. I believe it's a 36. I want to get a 55 so bad.
You know what's funny? When we got our TV, it was a really good deal, but there was a 72-inch that was only like 150 or 200 bucks more. And the only reason that we didn't just spend a little bit more and get a 72-inch was that where we're gonna put our TV, it's like this little nook, and we wanted to have shelves on the sides, and there wouldn't have been room for the shelves if we got that.
But well, also it's a good thing you didn't, because if you like watch anything that's not in high def on a 72-inch screen, the quality is crap.
Yeah.
You try to watch something that's standard definition on a large screen, the quality is crap. If you go too large, But the thing was, when we went and bought it, we also bought a Blu-ray player. So we were thinking Blu-rays on a 72-inch TV. Yeah.
We weren't even really thinking that much about the streaming because we hadn't even started the streaming yet. That was one of the main reasons we got the Blu-ray player was because it could do streaming. So we hadn't even started that yet.
Like when I walk around Best Buy and stuff, like I look at like our 82-inch TVs, 85-inch TVs, and I'm just like, I want you so bad. Like literally, it's just massive. It's like...
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Speaking of 4K, Sony has a wedge-shaped TV. That's a 4K TV. It's wedge-shaped. Makes it a little bit thicker on the bottom. We've talked about like thinner and thinner and thinner devices all the time, and what that does is it creates less room for good, decent components. So all these really thin TVs, they all sacrifice on sound because they have really crap speakers in them. So what this does is having a thicker bottom. For one, it makes it a little bit more stable because you have more weight down here. So it's going to have a lot more stability. But it also gives more room for decent quality speakers. And they'll put all the larger components in there so you're not sacrificing that stuff.
Oh, that's cool. So that's a 4K TV, wedge-shaped, and it has the speakers going up on either side of the device.
Yeah, so they can have all the components down the larger components down at the bottom, so you'll actually have decent sound.
I found my TV. That's my TV.
It will be available in 55-inch, 65-inch, and 79-inch. So you're gonna knock out a wall for that 79-incher.
I don't like smart TVs. I don't know about you.
I don't like smart TVs.
I think smart TVs are stupid because the interface is so slow, so buggy, and so just doesn't work. Like, it's just so awkward to use. And there's so many devices now you can just plug into an HDMI port. And like the Chromecast, like there's no reason to have a smart TV if you have a Chromecast. Especially with more and more support being added every day. You can just like cast whatever you want into the TV. There's no reason to have a YouTube app on your TV that's impossible to navigate because it was set up by a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Speaking of interface that was set up by a 3-year-old, let's talk about Samsung's TouchWiz.
Yeah.
They've redesigned it though. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen the redesign yet. My wife has a Samsung phone. I just haven't, I don't feel like looking at Samsung anymore.
TouchWiz has just always been hideous to me. It's always looked very childish and it makes it look like a toy, but they've redesigned it and it looks like there's been leaks. So this could be redesigned. And it has like flatter icons and kind of a flat semi-transparent notification bar. It definitely looks much better than anything that you've associated with TouchWiz, in my opinion. There's some people that think it looks ugly and they like the old one, but to me this looks much better.
And transparent is great and bad at the same time. Like on my phone, I love the fact that on my home screen, now that I have 4.4, my dock is transparent and everything. Everything down there is transparent. The nav keys are transparent because it works. But depending on what desktop you have or wallpaper, it doesn't work. Like I had to make my my notification bar for a while where it wasn't transparent, where it was black, because those are my only two options, black or transparent. Because when it was transparent, I had the TARDIS at the time, and it said police call box right up across the top.
Which interfered with your text.
Yeah, like all my notifications were in white. I can't change that in whatever ROM I'm using, and that was in white, police call box, whatever. And I couldn't see half the notifications and stuff, and half the little symbols and everything. My battery status, I couldn't read it. I couldn't read the time. Like I had to change it.
With a busier wallpaper like that, where there's more stuff in the background, like higher contrast stuff in the background, it definitely doesn't work. But with more of a subtle, uniform background. And
that's what I have really now. It's a subtle one. I just have a tie. That's all it is. It's a black suit with a tie because it's classy. All right, so new UI for Samsung. That's nice. We'll see how that goes.
Yahoo buys Aviate.
And then I'm going to buy Yahoo. You'll see that in the news next week. Teklian.TV buys Yahoo. And then dismantles it because it's useless.
takes it apart piece by piece.
Teklian.TV bought Yahoo to shut it down. But first, let's buy Bing and shut that down because... Did you know what was it? Like the #1 searched thing on Bing is Google. Just people who want to quickly get to Google.
Yeah, I saw a thing about that. A lot of people were doing it on purpose. It was like, just go to Bing and search for Google stuff.
But where I work, like at Best Buy, people do that all the time because they open up the computers, they're all Windows 8, they're all running the demo versions of Windows 8, and when you open up the internet, it opens up to Bing. And then they want to test out the internet, the very first thing they search in Bing is Google. And then they go to Google and they search what they want. Just instinctively, they don't even think about it, they just instinctively think, I gotta go to Google. They don't even think I'm already on a search engine. They don't even think that. It doesn't cross their mind. But it really makes you think. I saw something the other day about like, someone took a picture in a book that he had a book for like an old book on like computers and stuff, talking about how Alta Vista was like the #1 search engine in the world. And I was just like thinking back, like that was when I was 13. I was 13 when I like first started using Alta Vista, and everyone else was starting, like Google had just started. People were like, I'm gonna go try Google. Google looks fun. It has all those bright colors in the title and everything. And I'm like, and back then I hated Google because everyone loved it. Everyone was like jumping on Google. I'm like, I'm gonna stick with Alta Vista. Yeah. I'm gonna. And then I started using Google. I was like, I'm never leaving. But I used Alta Vista like for so long just because I didn't want to use Google because everyone else started using it as soon as they started up. And then I switched. But NameTag.ws.
This is weird. It's a facial recognition app that's going to be for Android, iOS, and it says Google Glass, but that's really interesting because Google doesn't allow facial recognition apps in the My Glass App Store. Yeah. So I'm not sure what that's...
So what does it do then?
What it does is it'll match people's faces to an online profile. So you could load up the app, point it at somebody's face, and then it can use that face to search an online profile and be like, here's their Facebook page, here's their Google Plus page, here's their Twitter account.
I don't like that at all.
But what it is, see, here's a quote saying it's not about invading anyone's privacy. It's about connecting people that want to be connected. We will even allow users to have one profile that is seen during business hours and another that is seen during social situations. It's kind of a opt-in or opt-out thing. You can go to a website and you can opt out so that it won't work for you.
So even if I don't have the app or anything, if I want to opt out, I have to go to their website and opt out.
That's what I'm not so sure about. Like, I went and I tried to do it, like to see what it was. It sent me an email for something to download, and I didn't do it because I thought it was stupid. But it almost seems like you have to go there and create an account for it to work.
Oh, they're right up the street from you. There you go. I don't know where you live. I just noticed it says downtown Las Vegas, Nevada in the description where they are.
Yeah, we don't go downtown.
Downtown.
Downtown is where there are still Blockbusters and people walk around with shopping carts, and there are still payphones.
There's still payphones?
That's in downtown. Downtown is where you go if you want to see what a payphone looks like and what a Blockbuster looks like. That's where you go. You go to downtown.
We have working payphones still at our the main bus station, because we're such a small state. We just have one bus system. That's all we need. And the main bus station in our capital still has working payphones. They have 3. And other than that, if you do see a payphone somewhere, which is very unlikely, but if you do, it's not connected to anything. It doesn't work or anything like that. It's there. It's just that's it. I have, other than at that downtown area, the main bus station, I've not seen a working payphone or payphones anymore at all. They have them the CVS up the street from me, the Walgreens, the Stop and Shop, which is our grocery store. They all still have the actual, the little housing unit with just the phone not there or anything. Just the system itself just isn't there anymore.
You know what they should do? They should put those old little things where the payphones were. They should take the payphones out, but put in little USB charging stations.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Or little NFC charging stations. That'd be funny. Have you seen Jelly?
Jelly. Yeah, I just pulled it up. It's created by one of the co-founders of Twitter.
I haven't been able to test it yet because it's not really something that you can go in there and just browse and look around. It's something that you have to use, and I haven't had a reason to use it. The idea is it's all picture-based, so I have this loaded up here, and you can see I can take a picture. So I could let's see. I'll test it right here. I'm going to take a picture of my hat. All right, it says crop or use. Now I can ask a question. So I will ask, anyone know where I can get another top hat? And I'm going to hit send. So what this does is I connected this. It'll connect to your Twitter and your Facebook. And it says all set, but it says, oh, you're all alone. Invite friends. So what it does is I'm going to post this link to Google Plus because there you go. Could you try this app with me? I'm going to go ahead and share it to other stuff too. So what it does is it posts this. It's kind of like a search engine. Like when you go to Google and you're trying to find something, you're putting out a question to the entire internet and you're looking to the entire internet for an answer. What this is this connects to your friends and friends of your friends, and it's looking for an answer with people that you actually know. So anybody could open this thing and be like, oh, every time I open it up, it tells me that nobody needs your help right now. But if you have your friends connected and people have been using it, you open this up and it'll pop up, and it's somebody that you actually know who was looking for an answer on a question, and you can be like, oh, I know what that is, and they're getting an answer from somebody that they trust more than just a random person on the internet. So the idea is really cool, but it's kind of too early to really say much else about it. So I just sent those little things out, so maybe people will use it with me.
Yeah.
In the demo video for the ad for it, it was showing somebody out, and they took a picture of something, and then they can draw on there and circle it and be like, anybody know what this thing is? So then they post that out, and then somebody replies, and
we have a visitor. What I think would be cool is I can kind of see, while it's still new and cheap, if Google tried to grab this up because of what it does and integrate it with their very poor, crappy, not really working that well Google goggles.
I use that sometimes. There's an option in the app that you can have it turned on automatically in the background. So anytime you take a picture with your camera, it'll automatically do its own little search in the background.
Oh, really?
Which I had it on for a little bit, but then it kind of felt creepy. that it's analyzing every picture I take. So
Yeah.
but there was times where I'd take a picture of something, like I'm cooking or something, and then it just sees a label in the background, and I get a little notification that Google Goggles recognize this label, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Google Goggles never did a good job for me with recognizing things.
It's great with like covers. If you're out and you're looking at a movie or a book or something, take a picture of it, and it'll pull up prices. Like I actually used it once, like shortly after I first used it, we were out at like a bookstore, and my wife has a Kindle, so I was like, oh, well, let me see if it's on there. So, you know, it was like $18 there, so I took a picture of it, and it was like, oh, look, it's $7.99 on the Kindle store. So she was like, really? I'm just going to get it there.
Are we doing hat tips now? Is it time?
Yeah, it's time. We've been doing this forever. My hat tip of the week is Multi-ROM Manager. It's what I use to dual boot. I now have my regular Android 4.4.2, my stock ROM, and I have Ubuntu Touch dual booted on here. And I'm going to do this thing real quick. So when your phone's booting, you're going to get an additional little menu that's going to pop up, and it's going to ask you what you want to boot into. Now, if it's going to have it's going to give you 4 seconds to decide. If you just leave it alone for 4 seconds, it's going to see. There's my Google screen, and then it's going to go into there it is. So you'll have 4 seconds to decide. If I tap the screen, now I can choose a ROM. So now you can see I have two in there. The default is going to be the internal default Android ROM. So if I would have ignored that, it's just going to automatically boot into that anyway. But then I can choose Ubuntu Touch and then boot. And something happened here. Well, that's interesting. I renamed it in the Multi-ROM Manager app. So I named it Ubuntu Touch, and you can't have spaces in there. So it's telling me that I can't have spaces. I have to go back into it and rename it to get rid of the space. But if I named it correctly, follow the rules. Oh, here's another thing. Since I'm booting, here's my boot animation. I have
awesome.
The TARDIS going in the vortex. That's another benefit to rooting.
You can set your own boot animation with Multi-ROM Manager?
No, not with that. This is with it's another app called like Boot Animation. You can put it on yours actually.
I'd be able to do that with Cyanogen. I can get my own little boot animation.
Yeah, it's just a little app. I'll have to look up what it's called exactly. Actually,
so what is that you put on there? Is that a video file, or is that like a GIF? Or?
It's an animated GIF. It's when you get it, you get the free version. What is it called? It's called Boot Animations. When you get the free version, it has a list of all kinds of different GIFs or boot animations that you can use. There's all kinds of like little Android logos, and there's one that's Aperture Science from Portal. There's all kinds of stuff like Transformers and Cyanogen boot animations, all kinds of different things. But I paid to unlock all of the features so I can use any animated GIF on my phone as a boot animation.
That's awesome.
But the one I actually used is on this list that you can use anyway. So you can actually use that one. But the thing is, if you're going to use this is when you sent me that picture the other day about you were updating to the latest nightly. When I replied and I said I really don't miss flashing nightlies every day. The main reason was because every time you flash a nightly, it's going to reset your boot animation.
Oh, all right.
So that was the main reason why I don't miss flashing. And how I told you that every time I did, it would like break stuff and change things. And I would have to if I wanted a custom boot animation like this, I would have to change it every single time.
I would love to get a boot animation of the Stargate being dialed and then open it.
Yeah. If you can find an animated GIF of that and you unlock that part of this app,
I would love if you could time it so the length of the GIF is exactly the boot time.
Yeah.
So it's like you see it dialing just the right speed, and then it opens, and then as soon as that splash comes at you, you go into Android. Like that would be perfect.
All right, I'm gonna rename my ROM.
And while you do that, I'm gonna do my hat tip.
Your tat hit.
And my hat tip, my tip hat is to something that a lot of people are upset about right now for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and that's the new ability that's going to be rolling out to Google Plus account soon, for Gmail account soon, where you can email somebody who you have circled in Google Plus just by like starting to type their name or something or whatever into an email. If you have them on Google Plus, it'll like pop up, oh, you can email this person, and you don't actually need to know their email, which is a pretty handy feature. It works nicely, and a lot of people are mad about that because they're all bitching and crying about privacy, but we've been able to do this all along. This has been a feature Google Plus users have known about for some time because it's just before it was done from the other end. You still have the same option. Is your email shared with everybody, people you have circled, certain circles, or nobody at all? You still have those same 4 options. It's just instead of them having to go to your Google Plus page now and clicking on the little circle email icon, they can now do it directly from Gmail, which makes it a little bit simpler. Nothing has changed at all, except for the fact that the setting for it is now in Gmail and you can now do it from Gmail. That's all they changed. It's not actually a new feature. It's just moved from Google Plus to Gmail, and everyone is stupid and crying about it, and it grinds my gears.
I was just gonna say it was like
grinds my gears, and everyone is so angry about nothing. Actually, I should look into it. It would be interesting if Google even remembered people who use Google Plus. I don't know if they do. You probably still have to go and change the setting. But if Google even remembered, like, hey, on Google Plus you have it set for it's only shared with people in your circles. It'll automatically have that by default as your setting for Gmail. But I'd have to check that. Probably not. But still, it takes 10 seconds of your time that you have to do just once if you don't want people to be able to email you. Just once. And you already did it on Google Plus. You just have to do it here now. That's it.
And my thing was with that was, if I'm going to somebody's Google Plus to find that, I'm just going to contact them through Google Plus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have my thing redone now. I renamed it, so now it is just called Ubuntu, so there's no spaces. So now I can hit. Also, I'm going to show there's the option to a USB. If you get there's a little adapter that's a USB to micro USB. So you plug it in here, and then you can take a USB flash drive and plug it into that, and you can actually load a ROM that's installed on a USB drive. So if you don't want to store a bunch of ROMs on here, and you have say you have a 2 gig USB drive with Cyanogen on it, or some other ROM that you wanted to try, you can install that on that USB drive, plug it in here, and you can actually boot your phone off of that USB drive. So here I have select Ubuntu. Now it's going to boot into that. It's probably going to take a little bit, but it's really cool because like you can now try other ROMs without messing up the one you currently have. And if I wanted to get rid of this and change it, there's just one small little zip file that you flash, and it just gets rid of all of this and resets it right back to how you had it before with just one ROM. There's a little bit of a pause for Ubuntu because it's still under development, you know. There we go. So here's my Ubuntu screen. I customized it so I have 2 screens right now. So I have the TARDIS doors on the home screen, and then when I swipe and open it, where am I? There we are. There's all my icons, and I have the inside of the TARDIS in there. But yeah, now I'm running Ubuntu Touch, and all I have to do to go back to Android is just reboot and just boot into Android next time.
My heater just started up. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Usually it stays off while I'm on. It must have been on for a while.
Yeah, we've been in here a very long time. But
what are we doing next week?
Next week we have nothing. So can't tell you what we're going to do next week because we don't know yet. It's blank. All right, so join us next week. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but if you're following us on Google Plus, you will know.
And if you're not following us on Google Plus, you're probably not watching this because that's where we share this.
Yeah, we've abandoned the blog. It's all Google Plus now. I really don't care about the blog anymore, to be honest. It was always a hassle when we get in here and we get the link to post it, publish it, share it through the blog. It was a pain in the ass, so I thought the Google Events thing has been working amazingly because also I don't have to go through and edit the calendar for the schedule because now it's all the same thing. The video is posted in the event is the calendar schedule, so it's all one place, so it's very convenient. One central place for everything. Hat tip a hat. Tip my hat, and we are out.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. I froze.